maybe more on the details of the facility. We kind of had to be a little hush-hush until we got everything going because we had to secure this pool without this one kind of getting wind of the new facility and everything else. So we're kind of finally able to come a little more open and tell you exactly what's kind of going on with it. So I got some floor plans for you guys to see and that kind of thing too. Just kind of run down and make this a little quicker. Some of the questions that I got, I figured I'd just kind of run through those first. And if you guys have any additional ones afterwards, I'm more than happy to answer those and then take a look at the floor plan and that kind of stuff. Some of the team questions we had. With the new facility, what we're looking at is basically, if you hold this up here, we're looking at a new 12-lane facility. So it's like basically 3 4-lane sections. Where 2 of them, they're going to be connected in the middle for more of a stroke technique, vertical kicking area. So we're going to have that kind of good stuff. So we're looking at doubling our pool space, realistically. So what we're trying to do is we're looking at taking a tops of 100 new swimmers, so that's it. We'd like to keep it under that if we can. It just really depends on how well I learn to swim and our other programs do. The better that those programs do, the more it supports the club. So at the beginning, unfortunately, it's kind of a club that needs to kind of support the facility to get it off the ground. Once that gets going, and we get like a huge turnout to learn to swim, masters, try, and everything else, they'll actually be able to allow us to limit the number of swimmers and kind of get up.
I think the key is the learn to swim program. If you know anybody in school or national flyers that have because that facility between 4 to 8 is going to be taken by swim people. Before that, it's not. And the more that they can get into the learn to swim, there was Adam went up to Glenview, and there were 2,600 kids that came through in a very similar environment, that we could have, and it was not a 12-lane pool.
On this, or yeah, for the lessons, yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Because if they have that,
yeah, pretty often.
I don't even
Oh, no, that'd be fantastic. See, that's the things that we're doing, marketing and stuff like that. But so I mean, it's one of those things where we're looking at to sustain what we budget is if we take 100 swimmers tops and we have, I think it's total of 250 to about 280 learn to swim kids, we are able to sustain the facility with our masters and try. With Glenview, they had 2,600 coming through. Well, if that's the case, well then that allows us to hire more coaches for the team, allows us to keep our numbers down because we don't need them. It actually also will help us to keep our section fees down too. So that's kind of our kind of key going forward a little bit. So answering the full question, we're looking at taking the tops of 100, which is filling the gaps of what we don't have now. So I mean, there's a lot of ages where we have some boys, but we don't have girls. We got some ages where we got a lot of boys, we don't have girls. And then we have some 9-year-olds, but don't have any 10-year-olds. So we're trying to fill it up so we're even all the way through. So if you're looking at, we got about 7 groups total. 8 and unders, 9 and 10s, 11 12s, all the way through. There's about 7 groups to fill in. So we're looking at less than 15 a group. So when you kind of look at it that way, it's not really that much. We're almost doubling the whole pool size.
I like using Cullen as an example because on the on years, he's swimming and they're setting state records. And then the off years, they can't even get 3 relays to JO. So, you got to have a more consistency where you have all those kids at all the age groups so that you can consistently have the groups come through. Right. And it doesn't make sense to have it that way when you're up one year and down the next because some kids move on to the next age group and some don't.
But what our goal is, I mean, basically now, before we were able to kind of take over more pool time at Westmont High School, so before September this year, we had 4 to 8 and that was it. We had no chance to do a learn to swim or anything else, so we were very, very limited at what we could do. So in order to sustain and have the coaching staff we had to really kind of pack this as much as possible. When we have something like this and we're able to do the other programs, it'll allow us to actually help off the team with other programs so we don't have to pack it in. What we're looking at is having, 6 lanes tops. And that's it. I mean, all the way through is what we're hoping to do. 8 and unders, maybe 8, because a little, they swim as fast, but that's our ultimate goal. So I mean, at tops, we're not looking at being this 500, 600, athlete team, going in where it's like, you don't even know who you're gonna be on a relay with. That's not our goal. We're looking at kind of a small, maybe 350 team, and that's it at this facility. That's about it for that.
And I'll tell you, some parents might be concerned, but my son Tommy runs with, there's a lot of boys at that 14, 15 age group. No, but I think it's great. They push each other, it's great. And you have somebody to talk to, that's your age. And when you're in a weight meet, it's so much better that they, can go off and do some things. But having that many kids, is, I thought, much better than having only 3 or 4 kids at that age level.
For those who don't know, this is Don Bartecki, though. He's been kind of helping us out with the financing and everything else, so he does a lot of details.
Back to the younger groups and the lessons. Are you ready to advertise now, or you want to wait?
Well, we're able to kind of do what we're doing now with our 3:25 and 4 o'clock. What we're looking at doing, this is something that we're still talking about with our preteen coaches, our 8 and unders, is our preteen's always so difficult to get into. Right now, it's been basically filled by our siblings of the current teams. What we're looking at doing is kind of making it an extension of the lessons, where it's not really a free to Westmont Swim Club, but it's the top of our swim lessons, and doing half-hour sessions twice a week and expanding that out so we can actually get more kids in before the facility's up and running, and help sustain some of the costs and stuff like that. So that's the one thing we're kind of in a talk with right now, but we are looking at advertising our 3:25 for our Saturdays. Again, I never want to make them too crowded too, because I like having the smaller groups all the way through. And that's why we figured we're going to be bringing in, one of the questions was the coach swimmer ratio. And that's always kind of the biggest one that everybody wants to know. Right now we have 2, 3 over there, so we got 3 coaches right now for 11-12s. I'm usually on the deck with them now. So, for our 11-12 group, always in the beginning, it's kind of nice we have this many. We're bringing on Scott Erdman, our assistant coach. He's coming on full-time February 2nd. He put in his 2 weeks. So he's going to be basically a second one of me, with it. So we're looking at basically being able to have a smaller coach-to-swimmer ratio than what we have now currently. And what we want to do is be able to do what we're doing now, where Chris can take a few off, working on some streamlines, some dolphin kicks, take another group, working on some endurance stuff, and be able to break it up. So that's kind of our ultimate goal. And then later on, we got Barb, who's helping out with the stroke school right now, Coach Christie, who's running the preteen. Going through this, and then juniors coming back from the high school season. So we got coach swimmer ratio is going to be great. And again, the better our lessons do, and the more we can sustain it, the smaller that ratio is going to become, because this is kind of our main focus. And I always feel the more attention we can get on the kids, the better off we're going to be. So again, it's in the beginning, it's bringing on Scotty full time, keeping the coaching staff we have, being able to spread the kids out a little bit more, utilize the coaching staff better than having 3 coaches kind of stand behind 4 lanes. You're going to be able to spread out, do some more individual stuff, and work it that way. So we're kind of really looking forward to that coaching aspect of it, especially with the 12 lanes spread out like it is. So basically, somebody wanted to know what Scotty's role is going to be. It's basically going to be a second meet. We're both going to be basically tag teaming the team, going through and running the facility together. Scotty's kind of a workaholic like I am. He's an engineer during the day, drives straight from work, comes here, works with me from about 6:30 to 8, gets in the water, helps with the masters, and swims for about another hour, and then goes and drives back to Chicago. So it's going to be kind of nice for the 2 of us to be kind of hitting this full speed. He's worked with all groups, so people want to know what his experience was with the lower age groups. Scotty and I both coached Hickory Willow, and we basically ran the team together, coached the 8 and unders. Lessons, we pretty much did everything. So, yeah, he put in his 2 weeks notice the other day. So I took a pay cut, he's taking a pay cut. We're going to be able to try to be able to do this together, because we know we can make this work if we're together. It's our ultimate goal.
And when Adam told me about this, that was the key to make it work. You know, without another Adam, I don't think that he could take this on. So Scotty being there, you don't realize how good that's going to be, because Scotty is a very, very good coach. Anybody who's had their kids coached by Scotty, you know, he knows what he's doing. So I thought that'll be really great to have him and not have all that pressure on him. But to have Scotty there full time is a big boost for this club. Big boost. Yeah.
So cut down my paperwork, my administration time. I won't be running myself as thin too. So it'll be kind of nice. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So that'll be good. The practice times was kind of our next biggest question. Our biggest concern was getting to the facility at 4 o'clock since it's a little further south. What we're looking at doing is because the lessons is kind of big. And if we could see that we get a little bit more, people involved with the lessons later in that, afternoon, what we're looking at is maybe trying to push back the start of our 11-12, especially with the amount of lanes we'll have, back to about, 4:10, 4:15. So that's something we're looking at doing if everything works out. So that's one of the issues. We know that some of the families always have a tough time with showing up at 4. So if we can push it back 15 minutes without pushing that older group back. So you got to remember, your kid is young now, but they're going to be older later. So you want to make sure we don't adjust something now that's going to be later on like, oh, why did I do that? So it's something we want to make sure. So Scotty and I have been kind of sitting down and talking a little bit with the practice schedule. We feel that we can keep it very, very similar to what we have now. Once we kind of have a good grasp of what we're having, we're going to meet with our coaching staff, kind of get a little poll from the parents and stuff like that, and kind of work it. But we're looking at trying to push it back about 10, 15 minutes. That way we can actually ease in for the lessons into the swimming routine a little bit more. With the added lanes, I think we have no problem transitioning all the way through. One thing we might do is with the 8 and unders. 8 and unders, I love our 8 and unders to death. Coach Christie did such a fabulous job for 4 or 5 years. And then unfortunately she started working a little bit more. The kids got a little older. Coach Kristen is kind of taking over the 8 and under group now. Both of them do a great job, but it's a big group. And if you watch, Christy and Kristen and Barb with a smaller group, there's so much that's done in such a short period of time that what we want to do is kind of limit the size of that 8 and under group by kind of breaking it up into 2. So what we might do is instead of an 8 and under group, make it nice and big and try to bring on more coaches that way. If we can break it up into 2-hour sections and do 7 unders and 8, where we're still doing our age breakups, where now the 7 unders who are younger and stuff like that, we can mess around and do some easier stuff. 8 and unders kind of help them transition to that 9 and 10 group. As you know, that's kind of a rough transition sometimes from the 8 to 9. So we could do some stuff where we can help out those 8-year-olds getting ready for that 9 and 10 group. And then it'll be able to limit and make those groups smaller too. And with the 12 lanes, we can go 2 lanes for an hour each, hour for the 8 and under group, spread out the rest of the groups even more. So that's something that might be a little bit of a change from what we have. But other than that, we're not talking too much of a difference other than that. The summer could be a little bit of a different story depending on how things are broken up with other programs. We'll still be kind of doing doubles and stuff with the senior national group. We might just end up running a morning practice and an afternoon practice for 11-12s, kind of like we do now, but consistently all 5 days a week, just to give you guys a little bit more options. But every time I looked at it, it just ends up giving you more options for it, and I don't think it's going to be much of a difference from what it has been in the past.
Still be the best times out of any group, any swim club. We'll still have the best times. And now with twice the amount of lanes and 12 starting blocks, how about that? It'll be really nice.
Yes, right. One of the biggest questions is the team size right now too. Is when are we taking on the new swimmers and the time frame for the facility? Right now we did get pushed back with some of the building permits and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, it goes along. We got a great general contractor. He still thinks he's going to be done with all his stuff by April, May, which is pretty outstanding how quick. I mean, he's over there. He's almost got all the electrical, all the plumbing all set up already. They opened up the wall. That's going to be this wall right here. They already opened up that. They're looking at tearing up the floor really shortly. 17 feet. So it's going to be really kind of nice and open. The pool guy thinks it just, he doesn't want to be optimistic and then tell us later. So he's like, I want to tell you April, May, but, you know, I'm thinking more May, June. So we're kind of pushing towards that kind of June opening is kind of what we're thinking. Now, the biggest concern we have is that we have 8 months of a build-out contract with our loan. After that 8 months, we start paying all the mortgage payments. So on top of that, we still have this pool because we want to secure this through July. So we're going to be doubling up on our payments a little bit. We have a little bit of a buffer kind of with our loan. We're trying not to use it as much as possible because we're hoping to get some other equipment and stuff with it and offset some other costs and stuff. So if the lessons don't get going right away, we're going to be safe. So we're looking right now at what to do. One of the options is we're trying to rent out another pool for that about a month time. As you guys kind of know, it's that May month that's always the hard one because actually April, everybody's coming back from spring break. People don't have as great of attendance. Looking back on it, we're really kind of low lane-wise, sort of lane-wise. When it comes to May and the spring sports are done for the high school kids, they start coming back. The college kids start coming back. That's when it kind of gets big. When we hit June, the nicest thing about our new contract with the high school is that we have the pool throughout the day. So we can really spread it out. So the seniors can have one practice, the national group can have another. We can have 1, 11, 12 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and we can spread it out nicely. So if we're looking at trying to take on about 30 to 40 swimmers if we can for long course because we figured that's going to sustain us for those like 3-4 months until the short course comes up. So we're not looking at bringing on everybody for long course. That's out the window because we're not going to be up and ready. However, we do need to bring on some to help us offset. Otherwise, we're going to be very tight. So what we're looking at is if we can get through the month of May by either renting out another facility and bringing on those 40 swimmers and having them train somewhere else for that first month if they really want to be on the team, keep this exactly the way it is. So none of our swimmers here have any kind of change in their schedule or any added swimmers to it. We can still bring on those new swimmers, be able to get the revenue for the facility, and then once we move in June, even if the facility gets pushed back, we still have plenty of pool time here. We rent out the Hinsdale Park District pool. Addison Trails has a 50-meter pool. There's a lot of pools we can rent out in case of emergency where we're not ready to go over there yet. So it's a month of May that's really kind of our time frame that we're looking at. And so we're looking at a few options and stuff like that.
Yeah, another thing I thought of is maybe if you know anybody that wants to join the team but they're busy in May, if they got a sports program or basketball or soccer or something, we could prorate and have them join the team in June because they're busy in school and just say, listen, you know, we don't want to lose you because some of the other swim clubs are now saying you got to sign up right away because they know this is coming and people want to come over through. We'll say, hey, you know, you tell them that
You got to sign up for those.
you know, we'll take you in June if we want to do that. But and they may say that's fine because I really don't, you know, I'm playing another sport in school, especially in high school or grade school even. So that's another thing. So we know people.
It's supposed to be early. It's basically whenever the pool guys are done with it. Now, they want to get done as quick as possible because they do most of their business residential. So June is their big month. So basically, they want to be done with this pool as quickly as possible. And that's kind of the nice thing. That's why it's going so quickly because our GC is only doing this project. Our subcontractors right now are only doing this project. So everybody really kind of is really invested in the time frame of this. So the quicker they get done, the quicker they can move on. Plus, I've been over there every day making sure things are going all right. But so that's our biggest concern is that it's the end of June. All right.
Bring coffee.
Yeah. You guys be careful. There are a lot of construction guys over there.
Yeah.
But you guys know we can really
Yeah.
If they wanted to, I mean, if they wanted to try out, they probably need to wait, I don't know. Need to wait out for, like,
Right. If we're not ready, right. if they can't go through, yeah,
But
we'll
could
take
they,
them in.
should they try, I mean, could they try out like in May? I mean,
We can't. There's always yes. There's always a
I mean,
possibility.
they're 6 and 8, so we're not looking for some stellar state champs here, obviously.
Right.
One never knows.
One never does know, especially being Abby's working on it. That's right.
One never knows.
But,
Didn't stick right now.
no, I didn't.
Good idea.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's a couple options that we're looking at doing. But the biggest thing is we want to make sure that our current families that are helping make this possible and stuff that helped out with the fundraiser and everything else is that we make sure that these kids are taken care of first. You know, so when it comes to like looking at taking new swimmers, you know, Don was giving me a hard time in the fall that we needed to take more to help Sane, and I said, you know, no, we can't. You know, financially we do, but you know, with swimmers and stuff, we don't want to do that. So we'll find another way.
Voice in his ear.
I know. So, some of the facility questions we had was, I mean, the biggest thing is spectator. You know, want to know if there's a spectator here. There is. This is going to be kind of like a spectator hospitality kind of area, where we're looking at putting like a couch and chairs. This is a half wall that runs the entire pool that you can kind of sit along the wall, take a peek at it. So there will be a place to sit. It won't be on the deck though area. It'll be off to the side. There'll be a vending machine. We'll have Wi-Fi throughout the building, so in case you guys need to do work, you're able to kind of do your work. We'll try to get like a table or two kind of set up for you guys to do it. We do have a giant yoga room here. So what we might do is when we're not doing yoga or anything like that, have a couple tables set up for the parents. You guys can go down, sit down, hook up to Wi-Fi, do some work, wait for your kids. So like I said, this is supposed to be our family facility area. So what we want to do is set up times where there's a yoga class where there's an 8 and under group going on. So you drop off your 8 and under, you come on in, you do your yoga class, you shower. By that time the kid's out of the shower, you guys can go home together. We're teaming up with a few yoga instructors and strength and conditioning coaches to start working with some programs for our facility. So there is a 1,800 square foot fitness center. That's going to be our weights, TRX bands, sleds, medicine balls, box jumps, all that stuff that we do for dryland. Then we got a yoga room that's basically about 1,300 or 1,400 square feet. So it'll be like our classroom, yoga room, meeting room. Kids had a meet. We can go in there first, sit down, watch film. For triathlons, we're looking at making this our copy trainer room where we'll actually have videos and screens up on the wall where they can race each other. So I mean, there's a lot of cool things that we can do with that room. Along with that, there is family changing rooms, which would be nice for our Learn to Swim program. On top of that, there's an adult and women's locker room section. So if anybody from Masters is swimming, they have their own place to change without the kids being there. Right now, the locker rooms are bigger than what we have at Westmont. So they're bigger than the high school locker rooms that we have in there. Plus that we have a separation from the adults.
They'll be clean. Yeah.
They'll be brand new, so yeah, they're awful here. Let's see what else.
Will those facilities be available to the adults? Like if we want to work out while our kids are swimming, that
Yeah.
we use, we can go in
Come in
anytime. Okay.
anytime you want. So we're
Because
trying
there
to
is
set
a-
the programs up.
There's an adult and both men and women.
So if we want to run on the treadmill while they're in the pool, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to set it up. We got to make sure we got the program set up right. You
Got
know, when it comes down to it, this is going to be the swim team first. So basically, the swimming team has the priority to whatever is used, and then after we have that, the time frame that we want for the team down, then we're going to open it up to basically, classes open. Use our treadmill. Guys can go in, use the TRX bands, that kind of stuff too. So we're trying to get it involved as much as possible. So instead of having to work, you can go work out, which is kind of our hot out. Let's see what else. Lap swimming, you want to know about adult swim. We are going to be setting up adult try, basically, but it's going to be more geared towards the swimming aspect. We're going to let the other teams out there right now kind of do their biking and running, which everybody has set up, but really nobody does the swimming portion of it. So we're going to be set up for the aquatic side. Even our dry land, we're going to set it up where it's going to be dry land for swimming for triathletes and masters. So you're learning different exercises to help strengthen up the muscles that you use in swimming. On top of that, lap swim, basically we're going to try to have lap swimming open throughout the day, in the morning before workouts. Masters will be in there too, so we'll have a program there. We are going to run some adult clinics throughout the year that we started here already. We had 6 people do our last one, had a great time, kind of blew their mind a little bit about what they do in the water. Their biggest complaint was to really have to see what I look like underwater, because they said they thought they were in better shape than they were. But other than that, they had a lot of fun. Coolest part is we taught them how to train the way we train now, which in 6 minutes, I had their heart rate up to about 180 in a 6-minute time frame. So there's a lot of new stuff that you can really do, make the workout a lot more fun and get a lot more out of it. So that's something we're going to try to do. Some of the new features that we're going to have is there's going to be a dehumidifier. Okay, there is no dehumidifier right here. We're putting in 3 pool pack dehumidifiers, brand new. It's actually $300,000 worth of product. So we basically spared no expense on the ventilation for the new place. On top of that, the pool is going to be state of the art. We got a Neptune Basin regenerative filter system, which is the newest filter system on the market. It's one of the best ones right now. The only other one that's more is probably about $1 million worth that nobody's really using commercially yet. On top of that, we have a ultraviolet UV disinfectant system. So what this does is basically all that air, that bad air, your eyes burning, the kids coughing, it's chlorinates. So what happens when the chlorine, It's what happens when the chlorine reacts with other compounds. Turns into what they call chlorinates, which kind of affects your pH levels and everything else. What this ultraviolet disinfectant does is as the water runs through, it gets zapped by this high intensity ultraviolet light and kills the chlorinates. So it cuts down that drastically. On top of that, the 3 dehumidifiers are going to make sure that the air quality is rotated through continuously. So hopefully there's no more coughing. We'll be able to keep the pool a little warmer of a temperature without having them cough. So that's one of the reasons why this pool is so cold too, is that it's easier to breathe in cooler weather and you don't get as much chemicals going. When it's a little warmer, chemicals start to increase. Well, this will be able to keep a warmer, cool temperature about 82 and be able to keep the kids from coughing and actually hopefully keep the water clean too. So that's the biggest improvement at the new facility. It's just the dehumidifiers and the HVAC system and the pool pumps and stuff like that.
How deep are the lanes?
Good question. So we basically, our one pool that has 4 lanes, it's going to be 4 feet deep at the far end, and it's 3.5 here. So it's going to be a kind of a nice training pool, nice learn to swim. 3.5 feet, so everybody can kind of stand. We will have platforms for the little guys to learn to swim. So I think this will be kind of a nice, just kind of learn to swim, aid and under pool where they can stand. The 2 main pools are going to be 4 feet to 6 feet, so we can still do vertical kicking. It has to be 6 feet to be able to learn how to dive in. 4 feet is legal to dive in from a block all the way through. So we'll be able to dive once we train everybody in the 6 feet all the way through to all 12 lanes.
Blocks are here.
It's that half wall.
This one, the warehouse had an addition put on. So this was the original building. This was the addition. So what we did was we cut open that wall.
Oh, so that's when you left the building.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be left of that wall. So we get a little bit of separation. So if you've got lessons going on, the swimming team's going here, or masters, where adults don't want to be in with the senior national group, it kind of breaks it up kind of nicely there.
And I think a cool thing that I thought from a parent's perspective is there had to be, you know, if we wanted a building that had 20 foot clear that could span all of this, it would triple the value of the building. So there are columns that go up. And we made use of them because there's a column here and a wall here. So we made this extension. But at no point in time you'll see will your swimmer ever be more than a lane away from a coach.
Right, that's good.
Because they have this over here, and this area over here, we're going to put
Floating bridge?
no, we're going to put we're going to put a medium. so that you can pull a kid out. There'll be short lane lines here, but you can actually pull a kid out and film them or do turns or whatever without disrupting any practice.
Is there any
It's going to be really cool.
underwater observation built in?
Not observation cameras though.
Okay, but
Basically
everything
you'll
goes
hook
right.
right on. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get, if we have the money, we're trying to get a TV put here and hopefully one on a swivel on this base here. And basically we'll probably have another one in the yoga room and probably another one over here too. And we're trying to set it up where this is going to be kind of our cameras, technique, vertical kick area. So in case, you know, somebody's really falling off technique-wise, we can grab them, put them over here, not disrupt anybody else in the training group, and be able to work on the camera right away. The biggest problem we have now is this pool keeps overflowing on me, and I can't run an electrical extension cord coming on the deck. And then I can't keep it out, I can't keep it set up, because the high school keeps coming in and basically messing around. So I gotta store it up. The worst part is a lot of my camera stuff is getting eat up right now. I basically get a year out of a TV, and then it's corroding. If you look at the back of my DVR right now, within 2 weeks, it was all rusted over where I didn't have anything plugged into. So it's kind of, it's tough. We're doing it as best as we can, get an underwater video up, but this is going to be really nice to be able to kind of hit it. So this is kind of our technique area here, and then being able to train all the way through. We're also going to try to run some underwater cameras along the side here, so that's why I talked about a camera over here too. So that way we can rotate through it, so when they're in that lane, they can actually look up during the set and see what they're doing. So this is one of the biggest things that Scotty had, that we had in plan, that this is going to be like a state of the art and nobody else has except for Bob Bowman facility. You know, where this is a swim club's facility, where we can set it up the way we want with cameras and everything else to help train these kids up. And so it's going to be neat. We're going to actually, Scotty and I are already building power towers, those power tower racks that are over there for resistance training. We're actually designing pulley systems ourselves and hanging it to the rafters. There's going to be climbing ropes for the older kids, where we're actually going to have to climb rope in the pool area. That's something big that University of Michigan's been doing lately. Other things are like rings and stuff like that we can strap across the pool. So a lot of really cool, fun stuff that we're trying to get put into this.
Does it have any water polo capabilities?
It does. It is open for water polo if they want, because it's all deep here, so it's a whole 6
Unless
foot.
you're over 6'6", your head will be out of the water.
But otherwise,
so
yeah, which is
you still won't touch the bottom.
Yeah.
So yeah.
so there's room to open up, but that's again if there's any like open availability for it and stuff like that. We're trying to get in fluid running. Jennifer Conrad, the swimmers, she wants to come in and do some classes for it too. So that's another thing that we kind of want to do.
And I know that we want this other group to come in. One of the real things that Adam spent a lot of money on that I think that you guys should know about too, just to show how nice of a facility he's putting in. This is the existing building. This is the outside. This is the street over here. This has the parking lot here. This is existing, except it's not this wide. So it's lengthening this lot here. There were 2 bays that came in over here, and they're putting in a U. So this is going to be drop-off. So when you come in, everybody will be able to be just going over here and dropped off. You want to come in, they'll be parking here. And pick up, we're putting in an entire back. Target is right here, by the way. There's
The whole parking lot runs right.
Target right over here. You'll see it.
We're like lined up with the parking lot. Sorry.
So we're putting this whole entire back over here so that there'll be 3 lanes. So when you're doing pickup, you can park here or here and then have a pass-through, so that you can get in and out and pick up your kids and they can come out. So when they come out the front door, they'll go this way. When you drop them off, they'll go right into the facility. It's a major expenditure that we're doing just to make sure, 1, safety, and 2, that you're able to get in and out of here, and 3, to have enough if you do want to come in or you do want to work out, there's enough parking over here too. So that's going to be really, really nice as opposed to
It's almost as much
what we have over here. Yeah. So that, from a parent's perspective, is really a nice thing to have.
And yeah, you can walk over to Target. My mom has.
Literally, if you put a gate here, you can go right over to Target J over here. should probably open it up to specific questions then now.
Yeah, anybody have any? Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out. You'll see Superior Trading coming around a little bit. You'll kind of see some logos and stuff. Superior Trading is our limited liability company that we had to start off to get the loan to be able to build. So basically, it's all the same thing. It's just Superior Trading is going to be the overall facility, where Westmont Swim Club is the home, and basically kind of run into it. So basically, just financial purposes and banking purposes. And
All right, I'll fill in the blanks there. Westmont Swim Club is a charitable organization. It's a 501c3. You're not going to get a loan through a 501c3 in order to make a facility like this. They just won't do it. So we started a limited liability corporation called Superior Training. And they're going to be the owner, and Westmont is going to be the lessee. So it's more of a financial arrangement that we had to do in order to get the financing for the facility. But Superior will also then be able to take those, like a triathlon training and some of the other things which would fall underneath the charitable organization. The charitable organization is set for training children, not adults, not that. So we can run all the other programs through Superior and still maintain the charitable status of Westmont Swim Club. So it's more of a tax and a financial than anything else.
So are we sticking with Westmont Swim Club?
It would be West Swim Club.
West.
Yeah, it's just because we want to keep as much of the culture as possible. Westmont Swim Club's been around since I was born. It's been well known all the way through. Dave Krodak did a great job of starting this club. We don't want to start over. We're taking the heritage of the culture that we built up here and then moving over. So what we're going to do is, because we're really not in Westmont anymore, we're just going to change it to West. So kind of keep that safe.
It was kind of interesting because we thought Willowbrook might put a contingency that we call it. And after they hit the gavel and said approved, one of the guys said, are you renaming it? And I basically said, too late now. So we were going to go with Willowbrook something, but I think we're going to go with West, and it's not going to stand for anything other than maybe Western Suburbs, but it'll be West.
So we're looking at, right now we're doing logo stuff, so if anybody knows, wants to play around with the fun logo, we're trying to keep the West with the wave and then maybe just go Swim Club underneath it. So that way there's not two West. It just kind of would look weird if we go West on top. So
and kind of an interesting thing that we talked about at the fundraiser, if you were there, we talked about putting up a record board. Yeah, with Cullen over there. We're talking about having this wall space. We'd like to put some windows here. There are some skylights in the building over here, but we like to put some windows along this wall. Maybe put a big logo on this wall. Maybe put a record board over here so the kids have some tradition. They can see some of that. So there will be a lot of cool things. Maybe a big West like that on this wall. We're not sure where we're going to see when it's up there. But we are going to do a lot of cool things when they come there. There'll be, it won't be, like this. There'll be some tradition. There'll be, yes, get them fired up. And another nice thing he's doing too is there'll be two overhead doors that can lift up over here. And this was a bay, which we're going to totally fill in with a fill from here. So it'll be level, but we're replacing that door with a glass door. So there'll be a lot of light coming into this training area, and in the nice days they'll be able to open it up and you'll be able to go right in. So when the kids do dry land, they'll be able to come out of these two overhead doors from this half wall from the gate right into the pool. Really, really cool. The setup is going to be so great for them to come in and out of it.
Does it have AC, I assume? AC in the summer?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the dehumidifiers are an air conditioning unit. So basically, the nice thing about the summer is this is all air conditioned because they're 3 units.
Yep.
You open up these 2 bay doors, you basically have all the way through, but there is AC too, all the way through.
Basically,
there's
3 zones. This is going to be one zone for HVAC. This will be another zone. The locker rooms will be another zone. So we can control the temperatures in each one of them accordingly.
Is it all single story?
All single story, 14-foot ceilings. In the pool area though, there's like about a 2.5, 3-foot rafters. So it ends up being about 16, 17 feet, which is nice because it actually circulate our air faster, because that was one of my biggest concerns. I'm like, it's got low ceilings. And then USA Swimming told me, no, it's going to be good. You're going to be able to circulate that air a lot faster than you would otherwise. and we can actually hang stuff from the ceiling, like rope climbs and stuff like that. So it'll be good. One of the cool things to point out though is when you do walk in, this is gonna be the main door. This is a straight hallway right into the pool area. So right here, there's going to be a glass wall to separate the units. But, well, yeah. So when you walk in, you can see right through the door, right into the pool area, right to that kind of wall where we'll have our team logo. So that'd be kind of a neat little flow to it.
I probably missed it, but where's the spectator area?
So spectator area is going to be on this whole section here, all the way down. And then also when there's no yoga classrooms, we're going to try to get some, basically some tables and stuff in there. It's going to be all Wi-Fi and stuff for you guys too.
This is a half wall. This is a half wall. So this is going to be open to the pool. So this is going to be one training area, all dry land area, whether it be adults or kids. Locker rooms, half wall here so you can see in. So if you come in, the kids will keep the water here because they'll come out of the locker room. And there's a half wall here to keep them separated. Another thing we're going to do too is along here, and I think maybe here too, we're going to take and put hooks so that there's not the big bags that are on the floor and over there, because everybody doesn't use locker rooms, they all put everything. So have them come out and no issues with phones and everything. All the bags will be hung up outside here and won't be cluttering up the locker room. So when they come out, they'll change, come out, hang their bags up, come on out, do the reverse coming on in. Yeah, well, we'll see how it comes out.
So we got like a couple of holes and hooks here, and then we'll be coming out here.
So we may put some,
clears that locker room so you don't have to
do we
get
have the showers here? Do we put them?
We're gonna try it. We're looking at trying to do something that's portable actually that kind of sets up for the.
So they might be able to just rinse off so that they don't spend all their time in the shower and say, where's my kid? Rinse off, get them out of there, you know?
Is it half wall open or half wall glass?
Open.
It's actually open.
Yeah.
So when you're in here, you're basically, yeah.
So basically, the wall that I was talking about here with the door, they'll separate. So this area will be all kind of on the full side.
Yeah.
Can you get a cell signal inside the building?
Yeah, right now I do. I have no problem with it.
We're going to put some nice things in there. They'll be able to see Adam whip out his phone and he'll be able to turn on some music for the practice. The kids will have it.
My next question.
Cool.
The entertainment options.
The kids will have some, you know, something.
Speaker system in there?
Oh yeah. So meet with them. Friends of mine are into that. So we're going to get them to come in there and I'm sure they'll do a nice job.
John's a
Plus, it'll be all
guy
Wi-Fi.
like me. I'm like, I just want to make sure we have enough to do this. He's like, no, you got to get the whole
Please,
speakers.
strobe light.
Yeah, like right now, like we're trying to
Please
get
go
some benches and stuff down, some chairs. And I'm like, well, if we have money, we'll do it. Otherwise, you guys might have to bring in your like foldable chairs and stuff. But we should be okay. They're doing pretty good construction-wise so far. There hasn't been any big surprises. Our GC's been able to save us some money on how they did the sanitary and stuff like that. So, plus, I basically did all the demolition, so we saved some money there. It's been fun.
Great.
Nice job.
It's going to be nice. It'll be fun.
Another reason we went bigger too, like I said, with the team size. With the team size of this and 6 lanes and stuff, I can never hire a full-time head coach like me. It would be me and a bunch of part-time assistant coaches, which we have great. But it'd be nice to get a couple of them more full-time, where they're here all the time and not going off to another job. Like Alex is doing a great job lately. It's just he's getting old. He's going to need more than just a $15 an hour salary soon to keep going. Where this might give us an opportunity with the team size, the facility size, to get multiple full-time employees at the place. So that was another reason why are we making it a little bigger too. It's so we can sustain the future kind of all the way through. So me and Scotty will be full-time, and also if everything goes well with other programs, we'll be able to hire another full-time swim coach besides me and Scotty, hopefully in the future once everything gets really going. So that's another reason. Yeah, we were going to rent out lanes and stuff like that. We're not planning on renting out from another team or anything like that. But,
It's a rental of like here.
No. We won't host any meets. A couple reasons for it. Spectator areas. You need bigger locker rooms. You need more bathrooms, and you would need a bigger parking lot. And it would basically almost double the cost of the facility to make it, most of these. Plus, honestly, if you've seen UIC, I don't want our pool facility to turn into it. Because when you rent it out, they don't respect your stuff. It ends up getting dirty. This is where we want to be at home, where people that come here, they're coming here a lot. They want us, keep it going and keep it nice.
Well, just think about this though. If we want to do a time trial with just our team, it's all set up there. And it'll be a fast pool. It'll be deep. So,
Yeah, sure.
I came in late, so you probably already answered these. But in the locker rooms, are there going to be? I can't really tell from the drawing, but are there permanently affixed lockers in there? And the team leave their stuff in lockers?
Yeah, there's a couple things. There will be some lockers that lock up in the locker rooms. These little boxes are lockers. These boxes are lockers here too. Also, these are boxes that we're going to more put hooks and boxes like cupboards along these walls here. So we want the kids to actually, especially younger ones, take their bag with, because everybody stuffs all their stuff in a bag now. So go in the locker room, change, put everything in a bag, come out, put it in one of the boxes, cupboards, or a hook where it's out in the open, where it's right next to all the spectators and everybody else. And then when they go back in, grab your stuff and go in. That way it doesn't pile up these benches and things get knocked over and lost and everything else. So that was one of our biggest concerns when we were doing lockers. That was my first concern. Yeah, so learn to swim, masters, open swim, triathlons, adult swim clinics, adult lessons.
water running.
Yeah, water running, the fitness center, strength and conditioning courses and CrossFit, yoga classes. We're looking at doing some water Zumba stuff, water aerobics. Pretty much everything we can get in there as we can. Physical therapy, running out of lane during the day for physical therapy. On top of that, we're trying to work with Aspire Kids. One of the things I really want to do is kind of really reach out and get that part of the community back into the water and stuff. So we work with Aspire Kids to have them come, and we're doing swim lessons and stuff with their kids. And
Hire more team. You're not doing no team.
Right.
I think that, you should tell us when you want, because I volunteer a lot in the community, and I'm happy to take as many flyers as you want to leave wherever. If you want, tell us when you're ready to get a lot of kids, and I'm happy to go all over and pass out flyers. But you're probably going to get an overwhelming amount, is my guess, when that happens. So tell me when the time is right. And I'm sure that other people here to see little kids have sources where they can also take flyers. And I'm happy to send it, wherever. No, it'd be easy. But look, if you have so many little kids that they, everyone takes them to where they go, and the classes they take their community house, anywhere.
The key there is that in the transition, we have to ask people to be patient because usually it's an April 15th start to the long course season, and we won't be ready by April 15th. That's where we may do some things like join the team in June if you have a May sport, and do something like that. In terms of the lessons, if we get people with the lessons and we can rent more time out over here, we'll try and we'll do it. But when we get a more of a firm date, if we know June 15th is the start date, and we know that in April, or we know that in February, that's when Adam's going to put out lesson start, June 15th. And something like that, that'll give them a better idea of when to do that. But secondly, the point about all the other programs, our main focus is going to be the swim team, followed closely by the Learn to Swim, because that's a natural fit for the swim team. It comes right, the swim lessons and the swim team are going to look like one now. You're going to have a progression from there. After that, it'll be all the adult and the triathletes, and we'll see where the most interest is. But from the swim programs in the morning, and then 4 to 8, 4 to 9 for the swim team, these other areas are all open though. So Adam's looking for things. Triathlete is going to fill it in a lot. But a lot of the yoga programs and some other things, this is going to be a great room over here and here, to do and to train. And you have the locker facilities with the adult change. You wouldn't want to change here,
Yeah, but I know this went a lot longer probably than we thought. 5 o'clock we'll start that up a little bit, but just to wrap up the first group here. you know, the main reason we're doing this too is because there would be no Westmont Swim Club if we didn't. We had a hard time with just extending one more year with the rent here. There was a referendum that luckily didn't get passed, but it's back up on the boards. They kind of look at tearing this place down completely. Last 4 or 5 years, well, 5, 6 years now, they've been bringing it up to the board of cutting the pool. So it's one of those things where this is kind of a do or die kind of situation to make sure that this club stays around. So we're, like John said, we'll keep this pool going if we can, because as much pool as we can get in the state, the better. You know, kids need, this is the only pool really in Westmont. I live in Westmont too, so I would hate to see this pool go. It wouldn't be a part of the swim club because you can't train here anymore. The pool needs way too much upkeep and everything else. So it's one of those where if we could do Learn to Swim or other programs to sustain it and try to help it out, we're gonna do it. But otherwise, it's the point where this is kind of shutting down and we got to do something drastic. So.
And I'll tell you, it's a big risk for Adam. You know,
Thanks.
and we went how many places, say that, well, we can't fund it. There's just, we don't know the track record, we don't know this, so there's a big risk there. So you guys got to support them.
It's kind of sad when you listen to a lottery winner and go, oh yeah, I'd still be in debt.
Yeah. But so from that standpoint, it's all for the kids. I mean, this is going to be a great facility. You see what we have here and what we did. The prospects of doing that are good, and the prospects of staying here, I just don't think this pool is sustainable. The money to fix this pool, even to make diving, they have to go down. You cannot dive in this pool because of the, it's 3 feet deep on either end. It would cost maybe $3 million to redo, $2 million at a minimum, and I just don't think Westmont has to do it. So we had to take matters, or Adam took matters in his own hand, and this is what he came up with. But it's going to be a nice facility.
Nice job.
That is